very inspired by Circle of Miracles. I always have been. And I feel like I was thinking this morning, it's like Happy Interdependence Day, because I feel the connection with all of you, whether or not I'm participating on any given Sunday, or whether I'm just sitting with Hannelore in my heart, or whether I'm thinking of any of you. And I feel like it's already been said this morning, how we really are never independent as part of the universe. We have a connection with everything from the microbes in our body to the moon and the sun and the stars and every living creature on the planet. And I know, as Annabella has probably shared a number of times, that physics has its roots now in the unified field, in the complete seamless web of creation and one substance. And it's beautiful how the wisdom of the sages and the ages have come full circle with science now to have an understanding and an agreement of this interconnectedness. So when it comes to my personal feelings, I just feel grateful, and I feel full of love, that felt sense of oneness with everything and everyone. And Circle is kind of the has been the epicenter in my personal history for this, to be able to express this. Interesting. I used to think, well, how else can I express it? And then I thought, well, each new generation of children are getting direct transmission. And Annette and Edie and the people who work and play with me in the mindful experience can feel that these children are so open and ripe and evolved. Their sense of awareness at their age compared to where I was is completely 180. It's amazing. But I also was kind of pushed by my partner in the mindful experience. Her name is Tammy Kirkunian. She said, you should get on Facebook. And I've always had a kind of an approach avoidance when it comes to Facebook. But she said, do a little Facebook Live thing and see how you feel. And so now every Monday, with few exceptions, around 12:15 in the lunch hour, I do 10 minutes or so of whatever it is that's coming through me. And it's actually become the web, or the greater complement to these kinds of sharings. I've had these kinds of sharings for close to 20 years with Circle, but I wondered, how could I be with a larger audience? And I would not have done it with the exception of the encouragement of my partner in the mindful experience. And I love doing it now. It's just like a little bit of this every week. And it's on some mindful topic about mindful living, being present, and what awareness can bring to all of us. So I wanted to share what was coming through me about being a human being and all the richness and diversity and limitations of being a human being, and how it dovetails with that ultimate freedom, which it's kind of a game when I think about it. We're born as pure consciousness. Every baby, psychologists call oceanic consciousness. I've always enjoyed that term, that everything is everyone and is I. So it's literally a birthright that this awareness comes in to every human body. And then we learn a personal identity We we learn through family and through cultural conditioning and through specific events that happen to us as an individual human being. And we start to know ourselves as an individual human being with a name and with likes and dislikes and with certain things that people tell us we can do and what they tell us we can't do, and with a growing number of judgments and this internal monologue, which sometimes becomes an internal dialogue, and a political affiliation, and a sexual preference, and this thought stream that is all about the world. And it's all about me, the story of me and the world. And the game seems to be that all of that was like clothes, like coverings to this amazing, wonderful, pure consciousness that comes into this body, all of that is very rich and captivating. And the story of me, I mean, it's a pretty cool story. I mean, you've all got one. and that is what is transcended, all of that, to come back to the one, to come back to what it is and what has never left. The pure awareness that looks through every child, every baby's eyes, and that looks through your eyes right now. And it's also a game that we don't really, we're doing so much, and yet there's a universe. So who's doing what? and the entire story of me and the entire world that it depends on is this very temporary, fleeting, constantly changing thing. But we are not a thing. We are not constant. We, as this person, this personality, are part of that, constantly evolving, constantly changing. This body, our relationships, our life events, our life circumstances, our emotions, our thoughts. Somebody measured them, an average of 50,000 of them a day. All of them. But behind all of it, what my friend and teacher Shanji used to say, the blue sky. He'd say, I'm going to bring him in now. Clouds come and go in the sky, but the blueness of the sky is ever intact, changeless, timeless. You are that blueness of the sky which never changes. Feel it here and now. You are that. And it always rang with me. It always sounded so beautiful. But to try to grasp it with the thinking mind was a headache. Literally, I would experience a headache. To try to, like they say, get your head around that. It's not about getting our head around it. It's about feeling it without a thought. Because thoughts, without that deeper presence, thoughts will bring us back again and again to the story of me and the limitations of personal experience. So what is it that we want freedom on this Independence Day? What is it that we really want freedom from. Still, we're free from England, but what do all of us on the planet, in every country, want? And it seems we want peace and joy that is not conditional. So we want freedom from conditioned behavior, from automatic judgment, from all forms of unconsciousness, from reactivity and prejudice. We want freedom from illusion. We want to be free from whatever it is that covers over this beautiful, direct experience that doesn't change. That is consciousness, awareness. They're just words, but they point to that truth that you feel in your heart. One life, the one life that animates everything. So we want to be free of separateness, of all the trappings of ego, of any sense of inferiority or superiority, alienation, unworthiness. And this is where there's the paradox in paradise, because we already are completely free. Because this spirit is not of this story of me. The story of me was born, and the story of me will die. This body was born. This body will die. This personality was born and is constantly changing, and it will die. But, and this is where Annabella will smile, because of course, science from the time of Einstein with the first law of thermodynamics, this life energy, this life force was never born, was never created. It is the source, and it is. It cannot die because it was never born. It is neither created nor destroyed. But what does that mean to little me? Not much. Kind of poetry, the stuff of poetry, but it's not lived somehow until, and then we fill in the blank, grace, sometimes great trauma, shake up that becomes wake up. Sometimes just an evolution of the human being and a greater independence in feeling comfortable with being alone, feeling comfortable with being still, like these children that sit with me in the mindful classes. They're really good at it. They feel like they're ninja. They're just Jedi, peaceful warrior. And we all, like those children, always have that potential to feel comfortable with being in our own skin and not having to have all our attention on somehow filling holes, asking the world to give us peace, the world to give us happiness. And the truth of this is an everyday truth. When we look like Elaine looks at the stars, and we just feel beautifully small, but beautifully a part of it all. When we pet a cat or a dog that is already in that presence and that peace, and we're in love. And we're perfectly happy, and nothing is happening. We're just sitting with So to step back to that blue sky is to experience thoughtless awareness, because it's in the unchecked stream of thought that the story of me carries us away to the ups and downs and ups and downs and never-ending ups and downs of the perfect imperfection of day's events. But it's perfect because sometimes we just get this direct experience and this direct glimpse that life itself is living us. It's like when Susan was speaking of our breathing, we can experience that. Well, you try to hold your breath and you see you as a little person can only do it for so long before the breath of life continues to breathe you. When you are quiet and still, you see that it's all just happening. There's so many ways that we can get tastes of this freedom from what is ever changing. It doesn't mean we don't absolutely enjoy. We can totally, there's more of a sense of humor and a sense of spiritual confidence and a sense of wonder with all the changing. But if we're dependent only on that, and we know ourselves only as this internal voice that sometimes just turns against us and wakes us up in the middle of the night with some horrific thought, where the heck did that come from? And what's it all about? And if that's me, why do I do that to myself? And so life itself and the universe, same thing, is evolving. Consciousness wants to animate and move through all of us. So what we do and what we don't do is all super wonderful. And we should enjoy it and feel integrated with it. And at the same time, there's a universe. There's one way beyond thought perfection that is moving through all creation. No matter what human beings think about themselves as outside of nature, outside of, independent in that sense, that's just silliness. All of this is stream of consciousness. I find it's more fun to be at Circle in stream of consciousness than anything, anything else. So the person is dependent, absolutely, on the world for everything, and including happiness and sadness at the very personal level. But that's all so fleeting. It can be enjoyed really only deeply when we know who and what we all are behind that. And by the way, when you just look straight at it, there's nothing behind you as awareness. There's nothing behind awareness. You can be aware of your thoughts. You can be aware of your changing body. You can be aware of your emotions, everything that changes. And you can love it. And you can do all you do to heal and to serve. And through that healing and through that selfless service, we start to experience selflessness, true selflessness. No self, no problem, say the Buddhists. And you and I too. That in those moments when little me is completely transcended because we are simply here and now. It takes thought to have that horizontal timeline with your name on it. And every time you're with the cat or the dog, every time you're with the family member or a friend where you are simply 100% present, there's no time, there's no you, there's no them, there's no separation. There is love and there is joy. So we taste it all the time. And so I feel like I'm kind of done. So I would like to have anyone and everyone maybe create more bridges than the ones that might have come through me or not come through me this morning, for a general understanding or anything you'd like to share.